few material obstacles in my way. Writing was a reputable and harmless occupation. The family peace was not broken by the scratching of a pen. No demand was made upon the family purse. For 10 and 6 pence, one can buy paper enough to write all the plays of Shakespeare, if one has a mind that way. Pianos and model Paris, Vienna, Berlin. Masters and mistresses are not needed by a writer. The cheapness of writing paper is of course the reason why women have succeeded as writers before they have succeeded in the other professions. But to tell you my story, it is a simple one. You have only got to figure to yourself a girl in a bedroom with a pen in her hand. She has only to move that pen from left to right, from 10 o'clock to 1. Then it occurred to her to do what is simple and cheap enough for all, to slip a few of those pages into an envelope, fix a penny stamp in corner, and drop the envelope in the red box at the corner. It was thus that I became a journalist, and my effort was rewarded on the first day of the following month. A very glorious day it was for me, by a letter from an editor containing a cheque of £1, 10 shillings and 6 pence, but to show you how little I deserve to be called a professional woman, how little I know of the struggle and difficulties of such lives, I have to admit that instead of spending that sum upon bread and butter, rent, shoes and stockings or butcher's bill, I went out and brought a cat, a beautiful cat, a Persian cat, which very soon involved me in bitter disputes with my neighbors. We could be easier than to write articles and to buy Persian cats with the profits. But wait a moment, article have to be about something. Mine, I seem to remember, was about a novel by a famous man. And while I was writing this review, I discovered that if I were going to review the book, I should need to do battle with a certain phantom. And phantom was a woman, and when I came to know her better, I called her after heroine of the famous poem, The Angel in the House. It was she who used to come between and me and my paper when I was writing review. She was who bothered me and wasted my time, and so tormented me that at last I killed her. You, who came of a younger and happier generation, may not have heard of her. You may not know what I mean by angel in the house. I will describe her as shortly as I can. She was intensely sympathetic. She was immensely charming. She was utterly unselfish. She excelled in the difficult art of family life. She sacrificed herself daily. If there were chicken, she took the leg. If there was a draught, she set it in short. She was so constituted that she never had a mind or a wish of her own, but preferred to sympathize always with the mind and wishes of others. Above all, I need not to say, she was pure. Her purity was purposed to be her chief beauty, her bliss, her great grace. In those days, the last of the Queen Victoria, every house had its angel. And when I came to write, I encountered her with very first word. The shadow of her wings fell on my page. I heard the rustling of her skirts in the room. Directly as that is to say, I took my pen in my hand to review that novel by a famous man. She slipped behind me and whispered, "My dear, you are a young woman. You are writing about a book that has written by a man. Be sympathetic, be tender, flatter, deceive, use all art and wills of our sexes. Never let anybody guess that you have a mind of your own. Above all, be pure." She made as if it guide me pen. I now record the one act for which I take some credit to myself. through the credit rightly belonged to some excellent ancestor of mine who left me a certain sum of money. Shall we say £500 a year? So that it was not necessary for me to depend solely on charm of my living. I turned upon her and caught her by the throat. I did my best to kill her. My excuse, if I were to be had upon in the court of law, would be that I acted in self-defense. Had I not killed her, she would have killed me. She would have plucked the heart out of my writing. For, as I found directly, I put pen to paper. You cannot review even a novel without having a mind of your own, without expressing what you think to be the truth behind about human relations, morality, sex, and all these questions, according to Angel of the House, cannot be dealt with freely and openly by women. They must charm, they must conciliate, they must, to put it bluntly, tell lie if they are to succeed. Thus, whenever I felt the shadow of her wing or the radiance of her halo upon my page, I took up the ink pot and flung it at her. She died hard. Her fictitious nature was of great assistance to her. It is far harder to kill a phantom than a reality. She was always creeping back when I thought I had dispatched her. I thought I flattered myself that I killed her in the end. The struggle was severe. It took much time that had better have been spent upon learning Greek grammar and in roaming the world in search of adventure. But it was real experience. It was an experience that was bound to befall all women writers that at time. Killing the angel in the house was part of occupation of a woman writer. But to continue my story, the angel was dead. Then remained. What remained? What then remained? You may say that what then remained? What then remained? What then remained? You may say that what remained was a simple and common object, a young woman in a bedroom with an ink pot. In other words, now that she had rid herself of falsehood, that young woman had only to be herself. But what is herself? I mean, what is a woman? What is a woman? I assure you, I do not know. I do not believe that you know. I do not believe that anybody can know until she has expressed herself in all arts and professions open to human skill. That indeed is one of the reasons why I have come here, out of respect for you, who are in process of showing us by your experience that experiments what a woman is, who are in process of providing us by your failure and success with that exactly important piece of information. But to continue the story of my professional experience, I made £1.10 and 6 by my first review, and I brought a Persian cat with the proceeds. Then I grew ambitious. A Persian cat is all very well, I said, but a Persian cat is not enough. I must have a motor car. And it was thus that I became a novelist, for it is very strange thing that people will give you a motor car if you will tell them a story. It is a still strange thing that there is something so delightful in the world as telling stories. It is far pleasant than writing review of a famous novel. And yet, if I am obey your secretary and tell you my professional experience as a novelist, I must tell you about very strange experience that befall me as a novelist. And to understand it, you must try first to imagine a novelist state of mind. I hope I am not giving away professional secrets if I say that a novelist's chief desire is to be as unconscious as possible. He has to induce in himself a state of perpetual lethargy. He wants life to proceed with the utmost quiet and regulatory. He wants to see the same face, to read the same book, to do the same thing day after day, month after month, while he is writing, so that nothing may break the illusion in which he is living, so that nothing may disturb or disquiet the mysterious noising about, feeling round darts, dashes, and sudden discoveries of that very shy and elusive spirit and imagination. I respect that this state is same both for men and women. Be that as it may, I want you to imagine me writing a novel in a state of mind. I want you to figure yourself a girl sitting with a pen in her hand, which for minutes and indeed for hours, she never dips into the ink pot. She never dips into the ink pot. She never dips into the ink pot. The image that come to my mind when I think of girl is the image of fisherman lying sunk in dream on the verge of deep lake with rod held out over the water. She was letting her imagination sweep unchecked and every rock of the world that lies submerged in the depth of our unconscious being. Now come the experience that I believe to be far commoner with the women writers than with men. The line races through the girl's finger. Her imagination had rushed away. It has sought the pool, the depth, the dark places where the largest fish slumber. And then there was a smash. There was an explosion. There was foam and confusion. The imagination had dashed itself against something hard. The girl was roused from her dream. She was indeed in a state of most acute and difficult distress. To speak without figure, she has thought of something about the body, about the passion which it was unfitting for her as a woman to say. Men have reason to tell her, would be shocked. The consciousness of what men will say of a woman who speak the truth about her passion had roused her from her artistic state of unconsciousness. She could write no more. The trance was over. Her imagination could work no longer. This I believe to be a very common experience with women writers. They are embedded by the extreme conventionality of the other sex. For though men sensibly allow themselves great freedom in these respects, I doubt that they realize and can control the extreme severity with which they condemn such freedom in women. These then were two very genius experiences of my own. These were two of the adventures of my professional life. The first, killing the angel in the house. I think I solved. She died, but the second, telling the truth about my own experience as a body, I do not think I solved it. I doubt that any woman has solved it yet. The obstacles against her are still immensely powerful, and yet they are very difficult to define. What is simple than to write a book outwardly? What obstacles are there for a woman rather than for a man? Inwardly, I think the case is very different. She has still many ghosts to fight, many prejudices to overcome. Indeed, it will be a long time still, I think, before a woman can sit down to write a book without finding a phantom to be slain, a rock to be dashed against, a rock to be dashed again. And if this is so in literature, the freest of the profession of women, how it is the new profession which you are for the first time entering. Those are the questions that I should like, had I time, I ask you, and indeed if I have laid a stress upon these professional experiences of mine, it is because I believe that they are, though in different forms, yours also, even when the path is nominally open, when there is nothing to prevent a woman from being a doctor, a lawyer, a civil servant, there are many phantoms and obstacles, as I believe, looming in her way. To discuss and define them, as I think, of great value and importance. For thus only can the labor be shared, the difficulties be solved. But beside, it is necessary also to discuss the ends and aim of which we are fighting, for which we are doing battle with these comfortable obstacles. Those aims cannot be taken for granted. They must be perpetually questioned and examined. The whole position, as I see it here in this hall, surrounded by women practicing for the first time in history, I know not how many different professionals is one of extraordinary interest and importance. You have won room for your own in the house hitherto exclusively owned by men. You are able, though not without great labor and efforts, to pay the rent. You are earning your £500 a year, but this freedom is only a beginning. You are earning your £500 a year, but this freedom is only beginning. The room is your own, but it is still bare. It has to be furnished, it has to be decorated, it has to be shared. How are you going to furnish it? How are you going to decorate it? With whom are you going to share it? Upon what terms? These, I think, are the questions of the utmost importance and interest. For the first time in history, you are able to ask them. For the first time, you are able to decide for yourself what the answers would be, should be. Willingly would I say and discuss those questions and answers, but not tonight. My time is up and I must cease. Really, okay. Today, actually, I was going through a lot of articles and a lot of things I was going through because I don't know, the more I'm reading about Virginia Woolf, as a student, I read it from the graduation, then post-graduation, MPhil and all. But still, I think there are so many things which are left, and I think there are so many things which I need to start from the beginning. See, today, instead of discussing that, what is Orlando, what is there in Orlando, I'm taking the, half part. If I say I am dividing the novel in a half part, and after interval, I am discussing the story. And after interval, when Orlando becomes a woman, right? When she becomes woman, then the paper in my hand, and the article is Professions by Women. Okay, Professions by Women. Why I'm associating this? This is written by Virginia Woolf, and there are two writers I will be discussing today. Virginia Woolf herself, and another is Michelle A. Lexa. Michelle A. Lexa. See, because most of the books, Orlando or any other book, if you see, Michelle has written like
spell the name.
Mittchell. Mittchell space A capital dot space L capital Leaska. Leska, huh? What will you say? Leska. Okay. See, this lady, whatever books you see, mostly she is writing about Virginia. So, and there are so many things I would discuss. Before I start my chapter, I'm giving you certain words, okay, and we'll correlate these words in a beautiful way with our text. So if you want to write down, Rashmi, please write down. Cat, write down. This is very interesting. This class is going to be very interesting. Cat, purse, okay, pen, right? Cat, purse, pen, and let me just come to the room. Okay, cat, pen, purse, room, peace. Okay, peace. Peace, if a woman is doing something which is not accepted by the family, by the neighbors, by the society, by the parents, then it disturb the peace of the family. You got it? So I will come to know, but you just write down peace. There are 4 P I will be giving you: peace, purse, pen, and paper. These 4 things I'm giving you. Then write down mailbox. You remember those earlier red boxes were there? लाल डब्बे होते थे ना? Post office पता है? ठीक है, अब वो लिखो. And then you imagine a room of your own room, and you earn some money, right? So these are the things I'm giving you, and then I'm talking about cat, Persian cat. Okay, stockings, butter, shoes, butcher's bill, table, chair, almirah, okay, furniture, and I'm using a word, pure, P-U-R-E, pure, angel, pure is separate, angel is separate, and pure, angel, sacrificial, then let me come to the Okay, so okay, now and then there are some words I'm giving you, that is internal and external. Okay, inside, you just see my body. I mean, then I will say resources. Resources are external resources, internal resources. So I have given you certain words, and let me say why these words I'm discussing right now in this class. What is important with these words? And believe me, this class is going to be the most memorable class of your life. Let me just start from the beginning. You know, actually, there is one school, National Society for Women's Service on January. I mean, the institution name is National Society for Women's Service. Actually, there is another society also existing in England since 1931 or 32, and that is National Society for Women's Resources. That's different. Don't confuse with this resources with service. This is National Society for Women's Service. Okay? This society I'm talking about. Why the society is significant? Actually, what happened when Virginia Woolf started writing, and when she was writing, after that she was called for a lecture, January 21, 1931. Okay, and the topic of the lecture, like you also going somewhere to talk about your paper presentation and all, we all go for that. So she went, and the topic was women, professions for women, right? And you know how does she started with this debate? And while I'm discussing this, there are those issues which are pertinent to women, which are exclusively associated with women writing. And this is going to be, believe me, when I was reading this article, I read it almost 20 times. And every time I had goosebumps, you know. And why this is so special? Because I am a woman, and I was correlating everything with this article. And that's why I thought that let's discuss this inner part, this very serious inside of a woman who is a writer, and then we will come to the text. We can go for text anytime. So now you have to focus one more significant writer, and that writer is Michelle A. Leska. I have already given you the name, Michelle A. Leska, and there is another name, please mention, note it down, that is Coventry Petmore. And her title name of poem, there is one poem whose significance we will take. Those words which I have given you, remember? Angel, pure, bliss, sacrifice, all these things I have given you. Selfless. These words are, there is a title written by Petmore. The poem is Celebrating Domestic Bliss. Celebrating Domestic Bliss. And if you remember last time when I was taking the class, in that last time I was comparing Charles Dickens with Jane Austen and Jane Eyre, right? So this poem is also talking about the same thing. This poem is related with the inner mind of the writer, a female writer. Okay, Rashmi? Okay, then now let me come to the point. So she was Virginia Woolf was called for the P-A-T-M-O-R-E. The title of the poem is Celebrating Domestic Bliss. Actually, this whole article has been taken with this. Okay, thank you, Pavini. Thank you. So this whole article is being taken by Virginia Woolf from that simple title, Celebrating Domestic Bliss. And this Celebrating Domestic Bliss, I am correlating with the Orlando, later half of Orlando as a female. And because Orlando is no difference than Rashmi, then Anju, then Pavini, then Virginia and Petmore. And you know, we find many times this is bliss, but literally this is not bliss. And that state of mind to understand even whether this is a bliss or not, it also takes a lot of time. It took many years, even Virginia Woolf, to understand that what she has been told for centuries was not a bliss. Okay, was not a bliss. So when it's not a fair and lovely. It is nothing fair and lovely. It is curse. I think you are understanding what I'm trying to say. So let me just start with I will be reading this some portion and then I'll tell you. The Professions for Women is an abbreviated version of speech Virginia Woolf delivered before a branch of National Society for Women's Service on January 21, 1931, and this was published after her death. And I have earlier also I talked about a room of one's own. So that is why when I was talking about a room, okay, Rashmi has a room. You have your own room now, and to maintain that room, maybe you need to pay a rent, maybe you have purchased it. You know, the patta or the document is in your name. So Rashmi has a room, and Rashmi has a earning also to pay the rent or maybe to pay the loan debt. Now Rashmi doesn't bother about how she will, after owning this room, she can maintain herself. You have £500 per month earning, and then after that this is your exclusive desire with whom you will share the room. How will you decorate this room? How will you act in that particular room? So the furniture, the inner decoration, the owning of the room, and what you do in that room. Can you close the door and write outside, "Don't disturb me"? And you can have 5 hours non-stop writing. Right? So these are, let me say, physical obstacles, materialistic obstacles. And what are these materialistic obstacles? If a woman wants to become a writer, believe me, in 1931, it was not possible even for a woman to become a writer, because owning a pen. आप एक कविता पढ़ना, रविंद्रनाथ टैगोर की एक छोटी सी कहानी है, the girl is there and she's having a pen, diary. I'm forgetting the name of this छोटी सी short story है, or in this short story, a girl with a diary, something like that. So this is basically, the idea is same. And you know what happened here, that when she was called that what is my profession, then she says here, because what I'm trying to say is all interrelated, all interlinked, and the thing is that to become, because she was asked what is your profession, Orlando is also become an intellectual, and she's writing. Okay, she's writing, she's earning by that intellectual exercises. So then she said that I'm not a pilot, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a artist. So you know, those people have different experience, but as a writer I have different experience, because I don't go and do any physical something like making a painting or checking doctors, or maybe I'm something, so my experience is different. So in the name of experience, if you see, then this article was presented is in London. Okay, so, and what is that? Let me just read out Michelle A. Lescar's statement. Let me just read out and you will just make it wonderful. The essay printed here concentrate on that Victorian phantom known as angel in the house. Okay, अभी भी आपको मालूम होगा, there are certain words which are very common in our present day society. You know what is the best profession for girl? Okay, become a teacher, है ना, कोई दिक्कत नहीं होगी, बच्चों को देखने में प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, टाइम पे आ जाओगे, you can't become a pilot, you know, पुलिस में गए तो odd hours are there, you understand? And then if you go for scientist, if you become fighter pilot, army में लड़कियां थोड़ी कम जाती. There are so many things we know. So you understand, when we choose a profession where peace of the family. So what is the sole purpose of a woman to do is to take care of the family. Okay, and 19th century का वो blissful, a woman who is, what is the name of the essay by Leska? Okay, the name of the essay is Professions for Women. It is not actually by Leska, it is by Virginia Woolf herself. I forgot the name. Let me just see who somebody is asking a question. Let me just wait a minute. Just give me a second, Rashmi. I am just answering the. Wait. Somebody asked me the question. नाम तो सही लिखा है. Okay, thank you, ma'am. हाँ, Pavini. Pavini, it is not an essay by Leska, it is an essay by Virginia herself. But Leska is interpreting it. Leska has included this inside. It's a discussion, but the writing is exclusively everything written by Virginia herself. So let me just read out what Leska is saying about this Professions for Women by Virginia Woolf. The essay printed here concentrates on that Victorian phantom known as the angel in the house, borrowed from Coventry Patmore's poem celebrating domestic bliss. See, before we end the class, I will write certain words. If you give me last 5 minutes, then I will be writing all those words. So you can, in chat box, I will write. So you remember, there are certain words again I am saying. These words are selfless, sacrificial women in the 19th century whose sole purpose in life was to soothe, to flatter and to comfort the male half of the world population. Okay, and killing the angel in the house. Now, this is one of the most remarkable thing we need to discuss. And what is that? The society has made an angel in the house. You know the angel? A mother or a female of the home. So she gets up early in the morning and then she's cooking, then she's serving tea, cleaning everything. I mean, it's a blissful to have a woman in the house. So she's an angel. She's sacrificing all of her life, and she's so. Let me read it again. And to comfort the male of the world population, killing the angel in the house, wrote Virginia Woolf, was a part of the occupation of women writer. So, you are an angel and you haven't broken any taboo, any set norms by the society, then what is the best option you can choose? Rashmi? A writer. You can become a writer. Why you want to become a writer? Because what are the materialistic things a writer need? A pen? A paper? Right? Pen, paper, because further she is saying that in £1.06 you can actually buy so much paper that all the Shakespeare's dramas you can write on that. So it's cheap paper. So a woman cannot buy anything which is expensive, costly. You got it? So it is a cheap paper, pen, and thank you.